Hey, 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 we are back. This is Maya. You know me from the Mad Chatter Show as DJ Maya, but today I am just Maya. And we are doing the second part of the series, which we call the Tainted Tea podcast. So it's a spin-off of the Mad Chatter Show, but this is Monday mornings. So when you get up in the morning on the Monday, which everybody can't stand but me, I love Mondays. So you get to watch something that I bring you that will get you going on a Monday. So you got something to look forward to. So with that being said, I have some amazing friends here, family, star family, and friends, people that I love very much. So I have, as you know him on Friday nights as DJ Pooh Bear. Today he is just Mr. Rogers, I like to call him.
Yeah. You know, last time I made the sock joke last time that I'm not wearing shoes, but I was thinking, you know, I have a partner that crochets. I wonder if she can make me some of them dope Mr. Rogers sweaters and I could start
Yeah.
wearing those. I mean, you're going to call me it anyway. I should get some dope sweaters and just show
Yeah.
up on the guy. What do you guys think?
A
Yeah.
knitted cardigan for
I know,
sure.
I
Yeah.
know she.
I should just rock the Rogers and go with it.
You should. That's right.
Hey,
You gotta have more
sure.
than one.
Rock the
But
Roger.
we have beautiful Angel Lori here. So do you want to introduce her to our viewers here? You know, we love you, Lori. We know you, but I like to let Mr. Rogers here give you a good intro. So take it away.
Um, I actually first met Angel Lori through the chat on Typical Skeptic, and once I reestablished my Facebook, we became friends that way, and we've just both kind of been running the same type of scenario in our lives right now, and a kind of quantum entanglement being everything in this universe. We keep running into each other on Typical Skeptic and on YouTube and all those cool stuff, and it's just been a really neat experience meeting her. Um, but she's also a very interesting person because she's had some very interesting paranormal experiences along the way through her life. And it's just going to be really exciting to hear her talk about those tonight.
Yes, so welcome, Angel Lori. Say hello and let everybody know who you are and share with everybody your beautiful story. Welcome, welcome, welcome.
Hi, thank you for having me on Tainted Tea. You know I love the name of this podcast. I love you, Maya. I love you, Don. I'm just happy to be here and to be able to share a little bit of the weirdness of my existence. And I'm ready to go.
Yeah. So we were talking a little bit, trying to figure out like where do we begin? Where do we dive in? So how would you like to introduce your journey? Where do you want to begin? Do you want to start at the beginning, go back to the end, in the middle, however you like? Because there's so many corridors and so many ways we could go about this down the rabbit hole. So I'll let you lead the way.
Well, we're going to do it in the quantum. This is how we're going to do it. In the quantum, we go back, we go forward. There's no space, there's no time. But starting a little bit of a background about myself, I am a grown-ass woman. I am 55 years old. I'm going to be 56. I have been a professional my whole life. I graduated from college with my criminal justice degree, and I went directly into criminal justice. I went directly into social services, been a supervisor, been a soup 1, soup 2, all of that good stuff, all the normal stuff that you do when you get out of school. Raised my daughter on my own from the age of 20. She is 33 now, and she's on her own journey. She has her own aspects and whatnot. And, starting with the weirdness of my existence, a little bit started in grade school. In grade school, where you were taken for like dental checkups in school and weird memories of that. Dental checkups in school, dental stuff going on. I mean, in the middle of school, there's a dentist office in your school, and they're doing like filling your teeth in with stuff. That was just so odd to me.
What? I've never heard that before.
Yeah, that was odd to me. And then when I eventually woke up in 2020 and I started hearing other people talking about these weird things that happened to them in school and being taken places, that kind of clicked with me with the whole weirdo dental thing. Even to this day, I can't deal with a dental chair. I will not, for some reason.
Did you ever have the tests in like your gymnasium or whatever, where it was not all of the classes, it was just certain kids out of certain classes, and it just seemed really odd that they would just take certain kids out and test just certain kids, and then that was it?
Well, that was the dental thing, and that was the dental thing. It wasn't everybody. It was just certain people went to this office with this dentist. It was certain people. It wasn't the whole school. It was weird. And then the only other thing weird about, back in school days was the fact that when, like, my age group, they gave us the shots. Like every kid gets shots and whatnot. Now, back then, I guess they did the shots in school, but I never remember them like sending home a consent form to my parents to sign for me to get this inoculation. And this inoculation left a permanent scar on the bodies of us that were in that age group receiving that shot. And it just seemed so weird to me because my daughter, she's had her inoculations, not in school, but when you take her to the pediatrician, and she has no Mars on her body. But for my age group, we all have inoculation. I call it scars. Inoculation scars. We were marked for some reason. My age group, we were marked, and I don't care what any of my friends say. I say we were marked for a reason. And then looking back at how things really revolve in this realm, they marked the star seeds early. They marked the star seeds early. They marked us. They inoculated us. They probably put nanites in us back then. Because who gets a shot and has a permanent scar? I'm 55. I still have the scar. My daughter was like, "What's that, Mommy?" I was like, "Oh, that's the scar from my shot." She was like, "Oh my God."
Oh my goodness.
Lori, my mom has it too.
Wait, is that the little mark, the indentation on the arm?
It's
like
an
a little,
but it's about that big. It's a big.
with like, they get them in the military when they go to boot camp. They give you that big, gigantic shot with like 50 needles in it, and it goes boom,
That's
boom.
what she's talking about. It's a government shot they used to give the kids in school.
No way. That's so
yeah. My mom has it.
And I highly suspect that was some type of forever tracking, some type of forever separating us from
kind of tagging. Like
exactly. It was like some type of a tagging. So that was like the weirdness in school between the dental and the tagging, which back then it just seemed really odd. But looking now back then, it's like, this looks like it was really, really contrived. Something that was contrived to make sure that you were identified. As far as school goes and everything, I learned how to operate in the matrix. I learned how to get the grades, and I was not the weirdo kid in school. I was not the super popular kid. I was just the person that did whatever the fuck I wanted to do. If I didn't want to go to school that day, I didn't go to school. I skipped school. I skipped classes, still got A's. Still, teachers didn't send reports back home to my mother. Oh, your kid wasn't in school. But see, the way my karma works is when I would skip school because, maybe I just didn't feel like going in that day, or I was in school and I wanted to go get some French fries or get a pizza, And I've always been like charismatic. So I always would convince one of my classmates to go with me. So then, we would just leave school. But it seems like my karma was I would always run into my mother. Because my mom, she was a truly gifted woman. She was just truly gifted, especially her psychic abilities. And I would just like be in a candy store or something and look around and like, oh yeah, hi mom. She would beat my behind all the way back to school. One time she beat my behind in school, but I was always rebellious, and I wanted to do what I wanted to do, and nothing really fazed me. So when we moved to, I had my whole like little section of my life with the haunted house. When we moved to the Bronx and they bought their first private house, it was beautiful. And it was, we had 3 floors. We had the basement, then we had the middle floor, and then we had the top floor. And the basement, they had it remodeled so that they could eventually rent it out to someone. So the whole house, it was like from the first day we moved in there, I'm not like a baby. I'm like, I don't know, 10, 11, I guess, 12 years old. I have baby sisters, and I just felt energy, but I didn't know what it was. I didn't know it was, some type of like gift that you had. I was a comic book collector, so I read all the Marvels. I had all the comic books. I knew who had psionic powers. I knew about special powers and whatnot, but I didn't understand that you can really have gifts. So in that house, especially with my mom, I think my mom was like a magnet for a lot of supernatural activity. But in that house, we ended up having shadow people. The shadow people would look like human beings. In fact, they always looked like my stepfather. They were always very tall, very thin, looking like him, because my stepfather worked at night and my mom worked in the day. So at night, he wouldn't get home till like, I don't know, maybe 1, 2 in the morning or whatever. And then when he would come in, my mom would kind of try to wait up for him. And I remember one time I was in my bedroom, which was like off the bathroom, and my mom was in the bathroom. And then I heard her go, James, hey. And, I'm nosy as fuck, even as a kid. So, I come out my room and I'm peeking around, see if, my dad. And from my room, you could look down the long staircase. Down the staircase, I see a tall figure, just completely black, because the lights were off downstairs. So if dad came in the front door, you would just think that's him. And then I heard my mom yell again, and I'm looking, and then it like evaporated. It just evaporated. And I was like, huh? And I looked at my mom, and she looked at me, and I looked at her. And then I flipped the light on and I ran down the steps. I was like, Dad? He was not home. He was not home. My mom and I was like, my mom, she was super Christian. She was like pleading the blood. I just went back into my room. I was like, well, that was nice. That was weird. Back into my room. And then living in that house, I learned that there was a negative, like a demonic energy in the basement, and like an angelic energy between the first level of the house and upstairs where we slept. 2 different energies going on in that house. And the basement, it seems like when they did the remodeling, whatever they did disturbed something down there. So it hated me. Whatever that was in the basement, it seriously hated me. But everything else upstairs, like took care of us. And upstairs, when I was young, my mom would leave me in charge of my baby sisters, which was always a mistake, because even though I'm a loving person now, I really could care less about my little sisters then. Sorry, not everybody cares about siblings, because it is such a big age group. It's an age difference between us. So they're little kids, and here I am almost a preteen, and I'm like, eh. So one time, the little baby sister, she was in her walker, and the parents had put like a safety gate at the top of the stairs, and I don't know who unlatched the safety gate, but the next thing I know, I'm coming out of my room and one sister's over there playing, and the other sister, she is just about getting ready to topple down the long staircase. I guess she would have went to her death, and so would I when my parents would have gotten home and saw their child dead. So I come running, and she's tumbling, and she tumbles out of the walker. The walker's crashing, and then I see this energy surround my baby sister. It surrounded her. It was like a opaque, like an opaque energy surrounded her little baby butt. And as she was like going down the stairs with the inertia, it was like cushioning her all the way to the bottom of the stairs. I was like, I'm not gonna
That
tell you.
is so crazy. So she didn't get hurt at all. You didn't see her touch.
Nope. I saw her land at the bottom. This is a long staircase.
Ugh.
I don't know, 30 steps, 40 steps. She landed at the bottom gently as if somebody just set her down, and she's giggling. And my middle sister, she's over there. She was looking over the railing like me. She was like, I'm running down the stairs. I picked up this child. I looked over at her, not a broken bone, not a concussion, nothing, no blood. I was like, oh my God, we really do have ghosts in this house. Yeah. And I left her on the, we stayed on the, main level. We didn't go back up the stairs. We stayed on the main level. I shushed the middle sister to silence for the rest of her life. So she never did. She never told. The baby ain't telling nobody. That's my story of, how my sister survived when she should have died. So was it her guardian angel that saved her? Was it my guardian angel knowing that I would die and not go forward in my mission if my mom came home? And
right.
I don't know, but at that point I knew that there was really benevolence in the top part of the house. It wanted us to survive. So wow. I was
the top part.
And then like every night these footsteps would go through the house. Every night, footsteps. It would start from the second level, come up the stairs, go through everybody's room. Everybody's room, down the hallway. My parents' room was way in the front. They go all the way down the corridor to the front room, and then that's it. It would dissipate. There was nothing else. It's just you hear the footsteps, but I would feel the energy of whatever was with those footsteps, and I'm like, it was so loving. It was so nice. I loved it. So I would be laying in my bed, and I would hear the footsteps come up the stairs, creak, creak, creak. Hear it come in my room. Hear it leave my room, and then it's head into my baby sister's room because they always shared a room since birth. Since they came into each other's lives. And I was like, I don't know what that is, but it's really, really nice. It's really, really nice. And then the basement, that my mom, she would have her chest freezer down there. So since I was the oldest, she would always make me go down there to get her, meats, whatever for dinner. And the first time I went down there, I was like, whatever. But then when I was like getting the meat out the freezer, all of a sudden, all the hairs on my body stood up. I felt that there was something breathing on my neck. I was like, what the heck? And I grabbed the ticket. And then I just started booking it up the stairs because, another long stairs to get to the basement. I'm booking it up the stairs. And I get up the stairs and I slam the door. I was like, I don't know what that is. I said, Mom, it feels weird down there. You stop your BS, whatever. Just bring me my chicken. So every time she would send me down there, even my baby sisters noticed the energy. So I don't know if my mom was like stayed asleep her whole life, but if I felt the energies and the babies felt the energies. So basically, as soon as my sister was able to like hold the door open, I would tell her, you stand here, you hold the door open. I'm going to cut the light on. I'm going to run down the stairs. By the time I'm running up the stairs, I want you to be able to push that door close behind me. You've got to do it. You can't fail me. And we did that. I got them on a system where the middle sister, she would shut that door behind me. So whatever was there was literally trapped there. It couldn't get upstairs. And whatever that energy was downstairs, if it got upstairs, I think whatever was surveilling upstairs would have had a confrontation with it. Then when I had my first hypnosis session in 21, I found out what all of that was about. That house was built on a nexus. That nexus provided entrance ways for like demonic and then I guess benevolent energies. So the basement, it held the frequency of basically a demon. And the upstairs held the frequency of whatever the benevolence was. I found out that the energy that would walk through the house was a Syrian. It was a Syrian being. So obviously it was in another frequency where I couldn't see it, but I could feel it. And it was something that was tied to my mom. So it was tied to my mother. Maybe it was one of her guardians or guides that stayed with us, that protected us. I don't know. But in the same house was where my mom had an abduction. And she shared it with me many years later when I was, when I think I was like about 16, she told me about what happened in that house. So in that house, she said that she was preparing for a prayer meeting with my dad. He had just got to work at midnight. So this was the night where he's going to work all night. So at midnight, they would have their prayer meetings. You know, he would call her at midnight and she had her Bible and they would do their little thing. And, you know, usually I was asleep by then. So she said that this particular evening, as she was preparing, you know, for my dad to call, she said that 3 small beings had basically flanked her bed. One was in the front, one was on the left, one was on the right. And she said that these beings paralyzed her. She said she couldn't move. And this was about maybe 5 minutes to midnight. She said it happened. She couldn't move. Next thing she said that she was lifted up through the roof of the house. And as she was going up with the 3 beings with her, she said that she saw this big machine, this big spaceship above the house in the Bronx, New York. And she said she went on to the thing. The only thing that she told me about that she remembered about being inside the ship was that they put her on a like a cold table. They put her on a cold table, so she was laying flat, and they did stuff to her with instruments. That's all she could remember about that. But I was just shocked that she remembered any of it. But then come to find out, she was basically a lifetime, I don't know if you could call her a contactee. She was a lifetime abductee from babyhood. I found out from her in high school when she admitted what happened to her in our house. When she admitted it to me, I was like, Mom, you were abducted by what we call the Greys. Because I was watching an episode of X-Files. And on X-Files, it was an episode of the Greys. And then she had walked by. This was when I was in high school now. She had walked by and saw it. My baby sister was sitting on the floor with me watching it. And she was like, I've seen that. I was like, you've seen what, Mom? She's like, I've seen that. And she pointed to the TV screen and it was the Greys. I was like, oh, and that's at the point where she told me about her experience in our haunted house. And I was like, wow. So at that point, my mom became basically like my case study on the abduction phenomenon. And then I was thinking, wow, but wait a minute. I was a little kid. The babies were babies. Did they take us too? Did they do something to us too? And then in my hypnosis, I found out that no, they did not take me and my baby sisters. Something about that they weren't allowed to take us. They weren't allowed to take me. They weren't allowed to take the little ones at that time. And I was like, but that just doesn't feel right. Because if you're like a villain and you got innocence, why wouldn't you take the innocence? Why wouldn't you get at it? And then come to find out that through hypnosis, I found out that my mom basically prior to coming into her service in this life, she had made an agreement that she would, I guess, share genetic information, share eggs and ova with these beings. It probably wasn't just grays either. She never had a chance to really explore because
Sounds like a gray hybridization program.
exactly. And I came to find out in hypnosis, I've got loads of hybrid sisters and brothers out there.
Yeah.
Some of them are off planet. Some of them are underground in societies. I hope they're okay. But
Right.
a lot of them are off planet. Some of them are on ships. They're on teaching ships, like the Andromedan. They're like on teaching ships. So I was like, wow. And then in hypnosis, it says that they're always in communication with me. They're always like, I guess they said, I said in my field, they're always in my field, my sisters and brothers. So I'm like, okay, cool. You know, I don't have a problem with that because when I was growing up, when I noticed how different I was with my family, I was like, am I a grade 2? I was like, because when my mom was pregnant, first of all, she couldn't get pregnant for a long time. Then at the point of when she was divorcing my dad, my biological father, she became pregnant. And I was like, that's kind of weird. You couldn't get pregnant all the years you was married with each other, and then you get divorced. And at the, you know, basically at the right end of the divorce, you get pregnant with me. I was like, that's just seems so weird to me. And
Right.
I don't know, growing up, I just always felt that for me, I always felt that I was like a hybrid, like part gray and part something else. And
Oh,
then through the hypnosis, I found out that I am a hybrid, but I'm not that type of a hybrid. I'm not like I'm not like a manipulated combined hybrid in like a hybrid program.
you're not a
I
hybrid experiment?
Right. I'm not that. I'm basically like the hybrid of source. Source created my energies and my soul in a particular way for a particular function. So I'm like a hybrid between the Elohim, the angelic realm, and the um in the Pleiadian beings. I'm a Pleiadian Elohim hybrid. And I was like, huh, okay. And then that's what I found out from my very first hypnosis. And then with the sessions that I've had with you, it kind of reconfirmed that information of the Elohim aspect to the Pleiadian aspect of however my condition of my soul is. It's just really strange. But for me, I've seen ships. High school saw a ship that was basically like a giant floating cross.
Oh,
Glow.
yes. Let's hear that story. How old were you?
High school. So we was probably like around, I don't know, 16. I think this was before, because I graduated when I was 17. So about 16, me and my bestie. And, you know, we was going to hang out, like, you know, on the weekends, like we did, because, you know, that was freedom from the parents. So, you know, we lived in New York, you get on the train, you go down to the village, you have fun, you see all the fun people, you eat good, fun foods and stuff that your parents wouldn't let you have. And we were just getting off the train and at 14th Street in Union Square, and we was going up the steps, and we got up the steps and we was walking a little bit away, and I don't know what made me look up, but I looked up, and when I looked up, I was like, it was a giant cross. I would say like 3-dimensional, because it wasn't just like a line and a stick. It had like depth, and it was gigantic. It took up like maybe, I don't know, a quarter of the street of the block above us, and I was like, oh my god. And I elbowed my best friend, and she's like, what? I was like, yeah. And she was like, She looked at me and I looked at her and we looked up. She looked at me again. I looked at her, looked up, and we was like, oh, hell no. And then we just started running. We just started running. We started running. We were like, we weren't even cognizant of other people, but there's the whole city life going on around you. This is broad daylight. The whole city life is going on around you. But when you see something that extraordinary, and I hadn't said what it was, I just said, look up. I was like, look. And she saw whatever it was that was physically in the sky, and it hit her fear reaction like it hit my fear reaction. And we just ran back to the train, and we went back on to the train station, and we was like, we got to go home. It's the rapture. The rapture is starting. Jesus is coming back for his people, because it was a cross ship. What else were we going to think in high school after growing up and being indoctrinated in the church? So I was like, it's the rapture. Are we getting left behind? What's happening? What's happening? And
am I part of the 144,000?
Didn't even know about any of that then. Didn't know. All we knew was Jesus is coming back, coming for his people. He's going to take them up out of here. And then all shit's going to break loose on the planet. That's not nice and really, really bad. And people going to get their heads chopped off. That's all I was thinking about back then. And I just posted on my Facebook about that, because there was, I think somebody had did a meme, and in the meme, it was a cross. I was like, that looks exactly like what I saw. So it kicked back that memory. And then I tagged my best friend to it. And I was like, do you remember? And she was like, do I? She was like, all kinds of weird shit always happens when I'm with you. I'm like, I know. I was like, I don't know. You know, because we're kind of like Lucy and Ethel together with all kinds of weird shit happening with us. But yeah, that ship, that was, I guess that was like my first ship I saw. That was my first ship. Seeing plenty of other ships then, commandeered a ship from an Arcturian council. Didn't know that I did, you know, I was just fascinated. That happened, I don't know, maybe 8 years ago. 8 years ago for me living here. I'm in the South now. I think, yeah, that cross ship was like the only ship I saw when I lived in New York. But since I've been down here in the South, I've seen maybe 3 separate occasions of ships, but only one time when I actually communicated with the ship itself. And I had no idea, you know, when you see something weird flying in the sky and it kind of looks like a missile, it looked like a missile. I was, you know, I had just went grocery shopping. I was waiting for the bus, and I looked up and it was a missile.
Oh my God.
And I was like, are we at war? That's the first thing I thought about. I was like, are we at war? I was like, what is that? And then I started focusing in on it good. And I saw the sunlight glint. Like sometimes when you see planes fly, you see a little glint of sunlight go across. And I was like, okay, maybe it's not a missile, but it's not a plane because it don't have wings. It was just like a tube. And then it had like the little, I don't know, I call it a dorsal fin. Like on the planes, it has like that little triangle in the top, in the back. And it had that, and then it just looked like a tube. And I was like, well, I don't know what that is. And I was looking closer, I was like, you. And then as soon as I said, not a missile, plane, it did the impossible. It like doubled back in on itself. Like it just like it was going in this direction, and then it went like that. And then after it went like that, then it started changing shapes. I was like, you know, and I had my phone at the time, big old whatever iPhone it was, and it was like on 1%. So I had my phone, and I was like, what? And I'm looking, and it's morphing. It first looked like a missile. Then it looked like a 747 without wings. Then when it doubled back in on itself, it started morphing. At one point, it looked like two giant blackbirds. Like it separated. It wasn't like one machine anymore. It was like two. It separated. And then it came back together. And as it came back together, I was like looking. Now, I don't know how many feet away from me it was. It was like, I don't know, maybe a block and a half away and up in the sky. And I'm looking at it. And then I'm thinking to myself, oh, I need you to come closer. And as soon as I thought it, because I never said it out of my mouth, I said it in my head. I was like, I need you to come closer. Before my mind even got to the closer, boom, it was like right above me in the parking lot, in front of the Food Lion, in front of the Family Dollar. There's people, there's life going on all around me, cars coming up and down the street. I'm standing here, I'm looking up at this ship. It's a ship. It's a real thing.
Did anyone else recognize that it was there?
Not a darn soul, because once it all had happened, it all transpired, and I put a MUFON report with pictures of the scene and longitude, latitude, and everything. I put a detailed report because it was just like phenomenal. Nobody else, I never saw anybody else on that report like leave a comment like, oh, I saw it too, this and the other. And in the aftermath of it, when my mind was replaying everything, I was like, I believe that once I communicated with the ship and it like heard my thought, it felt my thought, it felt the joy, the emotions of seeing it, it stopped time. For some, how did these people or these beings do it? They stopped my timeline in the middle of the street. They stopped my timeline in the middle of the street, and they let me get a good old look at her. Good old look,
What it looked like.
It after all the morphing that it did over me, it settled to look like a triangular ship. But a triangular ship with the smooth edges, not harsh triangle, with the smooth edges, and each smooth edge had a big circular light, and the lights were on. It was glowing, and it didn't have anything in the middle. It was just the three sides that had the big circle of light. And on the side of this machine, there was clear sections. It was like clear sections. I could see through it to the sky behind. And then I saw energy around the entire triangle. I saw the energy. It was like emitting these energy waves. And the only thing I tell people is like, it reminds me of like heat in the summer, off the concrete, off the asphalt. You can see the heat. That's what it looked like. It was emitting energy. And I'm like looking up at it. I got my groceries. I got my phone on the other hand. I'm looking up at this thing. And all I'm doing is throwing love. I'm throwing love at this ship. Like, you're beautiful. You're fantastic. Oh my God, I love you. Thank you for letting me see you. It's like, I'm just throwing love at the ship. Knowing the stuff that I know now, knowing at that point in time, I was occupying that ship. I don't know if it's humanity. I don't know if it's other beings.
Did we ask in your session? I feel like I question that, because when you say you saw a triangle ship, I'm always thinking like, is that like, the negative ones? But your Pleiadian ship was triangular. Did it look anything like your Pleiadian ship that you saw in your hypnosis session?
I never put those two ships together. No. I talked about this in the 21 regression. I found out who was occupying the ship and why they stopped. But with us, the ship that I see in my hypnosis with you is oval.
No, when you went to Egypt and you saw the ships, and there was a triangular ship.
No, it didn't look anything like that. Those ships look really different. And those ships, even though they was triangular, they more look like mini pyramids. And most of them were on the side. It's like, that's like this. They were on the side in that hypnosis around that pyramid. I guess powering up. A lot of them was like on the side. Some of them were like upside down. And then some of them was like regular, all hovering around that pyramid. But no, the triangular ship that I saw about 8 years ago, I found out in my very first regression, she asked specific questions about it, and I said that it was an Arcturian Council scout ship that I had commandeered it. Said that it's something about how I'm made, how I'm put together, that I interface or connect psychically with particular ships. I guess it's particular ships that match my genetic whatevers. I connect with them, so I can operate them. I can fly them. I can communicate with them, and that's what I did. And I didn't even know it. I just saw something phenomenal. Thought to myself, I need you to come closer, because that's how I said it in my head. I was like, oh, I need you to come closer. Next thing I know, it's in my face. I'm like,
oh yeah.
I just remember the excitement of looking up at that thing. I was like, oh, and nobody's seeing it. It's right above the parking lot, people.
Yep.
Nobody saw it. The whole thing from start to finish, maybe it was like 2 minutes,
Right.
if that long, maybe. And the hovering, that was probably like about, I don't know, maybe 10, 12 seconds. 10, 12 seconds. It gave me, basically it did like a strip tease for me. It was like, look, baby. And
give it to me, baby.
exactly. It showed this little tail.
That's what happened when I saw my UFO. I was driving on the highway and it looked like the moon fell on top of us, yo. The moon. It was so big and huge, and it was right there. And I was like, whoa. And it was subtle. And I squinted my eyes because I was like, there's got to be more to this. And I squinted my eyes and I could see behind it a shadow. And then I saw these little lights and they were dancing. It was like green and blue and like yellow or some red or something like that. Yeah, it was funny. I was like, oh my God.
I actually have a theory on that. I think a lot of the time why some people see like UFOs and crafts and Bigfoot and whatever is a lot of the times because you're resonating at such a high frequency, you can actually like understand or perceive the other density, right? You've actually brought yourself to a high enough frequency that you can see the other density, because all of the other densities are just beyond our perception. It's our mind that's locked. It's not that it's beyond us or it's in outer space. These things are all just right beyond our perception, right? So when you start resonating at a certain frequency, you can actually start to see things beyond your regular perspective. And I think that's why a lot of the times certain people see certain things.
Yeah, because they can be standing right next to each other in an experience and one won't see it.
Yes.
That's the only logical thing that we can think of why other people can't see what you can see. Because even now with the way people don't understand, I catch the glitches in the matrix all the time, like birds stopping, not hovering, just stop. I watch the skies all the time. I think I'm also a elemental. So I watch the skies all the time. The skies, sometimes they spell out words to me. They spell out letters. It's like sending me information. I see ships all the time. I know Rob, from the typical skeptic, he's like, oh, I only see ships. I don't see any ships. I'm like, dude, I see them all the time. I said, don't worry. When we get together, when we go to the conference, I could bring my night vision goggles and we can do some night vision stuff, because I said, I promise you, when we get together, I do a night vision, I will call if they can come, because who knows, this place is crazy. They be trying to hurt people. ships be
Right.
trying to come in, they be trying to snatch them up. But I said, if they allow it, I will call some of my fleet to come and just let you see up close. Because I remember one time I was in a car, I was coming home from work, and my spiritual teacher Zoe, who was on a Typical Skeptic podcast, and she did great. He's supposed to have invited her back, but he didn't. But I think he forgot.
He will. He will.
I'll remind him. But I was in one of her teaching groups, and I was at the light, and when I looked up, oh my God, there was a battleship in the sky.
A battleship.
A battleship in the sky, cloud cloaked.
Wow.
Not even well cloud cloaked. I was like, oh my God, I took my phone and I'm trying to, I'm at the light, I'm trying to capture it for them. But the thing about it was the joy hit me. The joy hit me. It hit my heart. And I was like, oh my God, those are my people on that ship. I was like singing. I started singing at the light. I was like, I'm just singing and singing and singing and singing. And it was really funny once I played the video for my friends, and they was like, okay, picture this, Lori. You're a commander and you're here doing your human mission. Those are some of your people in the ship, and they're watching you. And you're at a light and you're singing about the ship. Just picture that, Lori. Just picture them on the ship, picturing you in your humanity, acting like a giddy kid, and you're their commander. I was rolling. I was like, yeah, that is kind of weird. They was probably like, yeah, that's ours. She's
So did you see that session I did with Toy where she ended up on a couple battleships?
Mm-mm.
There's a session I did with this lady. Her name is Toy. She goes by Miss Toy, and her stories are wild. But in her first session, this was the first time ever crazy things started happening to me in my sessions. We literally saw her higher self. So she jumped on this battleship, and they were a little on the negative side. They had some shit to say, and they were a little bit rough around the edges with it. It was a little hard to swallow. And she was laying on the bed, and she had the window open, she had the blinds open, and it was dark. And as she's getting this information, I see a white smoke pass by the window, and it just stays there. And then a few seconds later, she's like, oh, what's that light? Oh, it's bright. There's this bright light. I'm like, what are you talking about? She's like, I don't know. There's this bright light shining. I don't know where it's coming from. And I was like, oh shit. Higher self stepped in, that's enough. And I was like, uh-oh. I was like, okay, so what's happening? And she's like, yeah, I don't know. I'm not on the ship anymore. So I said, okay, let's get out of there. Let's call your higher self in. So I called her higher self in, and then we waited a few seconds. And when I called the higher self, and you saw the energy move back, and then the higher self stepped in. And then in her second session, I asked her higher self, I said, oh, by the way, I have a question for you. What was that about? Was it because of this? Because I felt like it was negative, low vibration, and the higher self wasn't trying to have that. And then I think he said yes. I believe he said yes. But I also said, I caught you slipping. That's the first time I've ever seen the higher self. He was like, that's the first time I've ever been seen. I've ever been, and I was like, I saw that. And
wow.
So he's basically King Yama, who is the angel of death in the Hindu god. So he's an archangel, and at his highest self, he is an archangel. He is known as King Yama. So when I talk to him, I call him King Yama because he says, I'm King Yama. And so I'm like, King Yama. And then he also says she's connected to the Anunnaki. So not only is he an archangel, not only is he a blue African looking being that is connected to the Hindu gods, but he's also connected to the Tartarians and the Anunnaki. And he's like, I'm fighting the dark forces. I'm kicking ass right now. We're protecting you. I'm fighting underwater. I'm fighting in the trees, in the forest. I'm fighting in the air. I'm fighting in the skies. We are protecting you. We are protecting you. So a lot of people want to hate on the Anunnaki, but the experiences that I've had with them haven't been bad. You know, I haven't came across those ones yet. They're all pretty like just regular people.
I don't know. I don't have any views on the Anunnaki. I just feel the Anunnaki are too close to humanity. They're just as fucked up as we are. And they're egotistical. They have all of the downfalls that humanity has. So I don't really look up in any way, shape, or form.
They said that there's a video on YouTube that it's like a series and it's long, and it talks about the history, and it's an animation one, and it talks about the history of the Anunnaki. And I asked them, I said, is this accurate? And they said, yes, that's actually accurate. I was like, get out of here. It's accurate. So I'm about to go back and do it again.
All colors. They come in all colors.
Yes. Red, green, blue, red, green, blue, and I think he said purple
and black. There's melanated Anunnaki,
brown. Well, the brown are like super brown. They're like gold brown or something, right? I don't know if you've seen them.
Really copperized, really bronze, and also the midnight dark Anunnaki. There's midnight dark Anunnaki.
No way. I wonder if those are considered the purple.
They come in all colors. They're not just these Caucasian looking beings, and most of them don't even favor humanity.
Right. What were you gonna say, Don?
I was just gonna say, before I forget, I can actually say, like, I've played baseball with some Pleiadians. Yeah, 100%. Just sitting here looking at your face, yeah, definitely Pleiadian heritage, because I can see it. Like, I hung out with them for an afternoon. So
yeah. We you know, I'm Pleiadian too. We kind of got that elf look, I feel like.
Yeah. Oh, the ears 100%, because there's actually stick out. You can't see it, but to like there. Yeah.
Yeah.
If I have to pick of the known races of I call them interdimensionals. If I have to pick, I have to say I play on the side of the Lyrians. If I have to pick, I play on the side of the Lyrians. This is my Andarian crystal, so I hold space for the Pleiadians, but I play on.
Wait, you have an Andarian crystal? Get out of here.
Yeah, this is my Andarian crystal.
Yours is blue?
Yeah, it's like a turquoise blue.
Hold on. Mine is, see if you can see the color.
I know yours has got to be purple.
Yeah, sometimes you can see it. Sometimes I can get you to see it. You see a little bit of that on the edge?
Yeah, now I did. It's purple.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, so they said to keep, because we are Pleiadian, we keep our crystals with us, and they will keep us invincible to harm. But I have to copper wire it on my staff. I have a staff that I wire it to my staff. I put all my crystals, and I have to charge it in the full moon. They said I have to hold it, and I have to I have to push my staff on the ground and then point it up to the sky to the moonlight. I think it was Archangel Michael told me. I don't remember which angel told me, but yeah, that's what they told me to do.
I know. I think it was I had a dream that told me that I had to get an Andarian crystal, and it has to be the blue. The blue reflects, I guess, my branch of whatever Pleiadians I'm connected to. Okay. So I got the blue, and I also was told to get amulets or crystals of my Lyrians. So that's what I also have, but I'm not wearing it today. I didn't wear it today. Today was a completely Pleiadian day. But I have my crystals, my labradorite and everything with my lions on it. So I have my lion. Well, I do represent my lion because I do have my bracelet on. So I represent my lion. But so many people tell me, the psychics using their abilities, all these things I'm connected to. And I'm kind of like, I already kind of know that I'm out there, that I've been doing this a long time. I'm kind of jaded as a soul. I'm very loving, but I'm also kind of jaded because I think I dealt with humanity a lot. I've been in this game a lot, and I've been in other games and other places, dimensions, and then other beings a lot. So I think my perspective is never always rosy sunshine. I'm never always rosy sunshine because I know that these battles, they continue. And for me, it's like it all stems from families. It all stems from these families. The Godhead family, Elohim's, and Nakis, whatever. It's all about family feuds. All of these families have all of these difficulties and problems, and then they separate, then they war, then this one faction wants to do this and this faction wants to do that and whatever. And then humanity always wants to worship and serve something. It's like if you come into humanity and you come in and say, if you got your gifts, if your gifts are fully activated, you're psychic, you're telekinetic, you can do stuff, you can move stuff with your mind, blah, blah, blah. Oh my God, if you let a human see it in full, they will worship you. They will worship you. You will have followers. You will have flunkies. They will worship you. They will call you a god. Everybody here in humanity, when they see the extraordinary, they want to worship it. And that's what maybe in the past, a lot of these interdimensionals or ones from underneath the earth, some of them like to be worshipped. Some of them want it. They crave it. It's part of who they are. So they want that again. They want humanity to worship them again. So when they come back, you got all these people talking about, oh, when I return, and we'll be mighty and we will be kings and they will worship us and we will fight for humanity. I'm like, how you fight for humanity if you want to be worshipped? It don't go both ways. If you're not source, you don't deserve worship. What the hell? So why should, I don't care if Superman was to fly into this planet and make himself known. I'm not going to call him my God.
Right.
I'm not going to worship him. I'm like, yo, big up. You got powers. True that. You're going to use it for good. You're going to use it for evil. That's all I would care about. I'm not gonna, go kiss his red boots. Whatever.
Like, yo, Superman, where we going with this? I just need to know right now.
Okay. I'm not gonna go that way. But for me, I'm enjoying the journey. I'm enjoying the journey right now. My counterpart will be back with me soon, so that's gonna be weird because he's Montauk. He's a Montauk boy, but he will not go into any of those memories. He will not go into any of the horrors that he was put through. And I want him to share that with me. I want him to be able to get that out so that he can start to heal, because you gotta heal. When you've been fractured, these people have been fractured. They have been, you gotta take the child and you destroy the psyche, and then you split it up, and then you train the bits and pieces to do whatever functions you want them to do. And they all stay separated from each other inside this one vessel. And then
I call it sliced and diced.
And then they throw in the entity attachments. They throw in the demonic energies to attach and stay with that person. And then, the people that love these people have to deal with this. I have to deal with this. He's got a lot of stuff, And then you don't want those entities to attach to you just because you love that person. So, it's going to get really weird. And I don't think I'll be able to have any more hypnosis session, at least not when he's home. I would never want to be that wide open with him
really?
In the house. He would not. He would have to be out of this house. I would not want him in this house with me that wide open. Oh, I love him, but hell no. Hell to the no.
Well,
Hell
you
to
might have to help me manage the chat or something, or we could do some missions. We'll still put you on there, but you won't go under. We'll be like, is she on the ship? Is she there? Okay, good. You're there. Don't worry, Lori.
nope, not if he's home.
Like we
Nah.
do with Rob, I like to be able to do that. But no, I'm looking forward and hoping and praying that everything works out. I'm not going to force anything, rush anything. I'm just going to let it, hope and pray that everything works out perfectly the way it's supposed to, the way it's all meant to, so that way you guys can get it. I hope that it works out, that you get to go. Because can you imagine us on the highway and I'm like looking behind me, like, look, they're still far behind me.
Oh, dude, I have not driven.
Slow down, Lori. No, I'm just kidding.
No, I would. Well, I do drive fast, but not in environments that I don't know. Because I have not been on the highway going down the East Coast. I don't know, maybe in 6-7 years when me and my family went down to Orlando, we drove. But and it wasn't just me driving. I split it with my son-in-law at that time. But yeah, no. First of all, I was warned to stay off of highways. I was warned 2 years ago to stay off of highways. Because to me, it's like when I was on the highway the last time, and that's just here in town, it really seemed like the Matrix. It's like the Matrix, like in the movie The Matrix, when they was always like, stay off of the highways, that's a death trap. And when I was driving, my daughter and my son-in-law, they were driving up ahead, and I was in the car with Thor. And we was on that way, all of a sudden, I started getting this, I started getting dizzy. I started feeling like my soul was dislodging from my body. And I was like, what the hell? And I'm like, oh, this can't happen here. What's happening? I felt like I was being pulled out of my body. And I was like, oh, okay. And then I heard, stay off highways. And I was like, oh. And then I called my daughter, because they was like out of sight. I called my daughter, I said, I'm going to have to get off at the next exit. Something's not right. Something's not right. I don't feel right. And I don't know what it is, but I haven't really been on highway since, but I want to come down to this, and the only way I can come is if I got to bring Thor, so I have to drive. So yeah, I will be like on the bumper.
Okay. Yeah.
Unless he's driving, but I have to be the driver. But yeah, I will be on the bumper, on the cell phone, FaceTime, and hey, you stopping?
Yeah, I'm super excited. I'm looking forward to it.
I still think you guys should live stream it.
Oh, we will be for sure. I told Rob we were. Yeah.
That's Rob's his jobs. He's supposed to record it.
No, the drive down. You guys should live stream while you're driving.
Yes.
Oh,
sure. Yes. All of that commentary.
I hope I can get the biggest SUV I can find, because I need to have my space. I need the love interest over there. I need the dog way back there. And Mama has sacred space right here.
That's funny. Yeah, I got my little SUV, so I'm gonna be driving my 4Runner. Plenty of space.
Are you bringing your baby girl?
No, she's gonna stay home. Her grandma will be home that week. Well, she'll be home, so no, unless Dad decides to come with us, but we'll see.
Oh, I too. Tell Yeshua to come.
He's a bit of a party pooper, so I don't know. We'll see. I don't know. We'll see. Yeah, he's Scorpio. He's a hardworking man. So even though he's relaxing, he's got work on his mind. Like, I should be working right now. I don't have time to do this. I don't have time to relax. Like, he can't relax.
Yeah. Passing mic at karaoke, like, get your soul on. Sing it. He can sing Bob Marley. He could do it.
He definitely needs encouragement. If there's more people around, I mean, we could probably pressure him. But I mean, he's an artist. He's a musician anyway, so you would think he would like to do things like that, but he gets shy. It's like, wait a minute, you're a singer.
That happens. That's how it.
It's funny. Thank you. Well, thank you, sis, for joining us today. Would you like to let everybody know where they can find you and connect with you? And I know you have future plans of starting podcasts and cooking classes. I'm just kidding. Um, but yeah, do you want to let everybody know where they can find you?
Yeah, I'm on my personal journey right now. On YouTube, you can find me at Angel Lori 555. I'm just telling little bits and snippets about stuff that I found out in regressions and things that psychics are telling me. You know, they're putting me on different paths of information. So that's what I'm doing right now. But when the counterpart is home and he gets his radio network back going, what I intend to do is I will start doing professional interviews because, you know, he has the whole setup, and we will help him get his network back on board. I may or may not be a part of his network because I'm really big into boundaries. I don't like to be controlled, and he's very controlling when it comes to his business. So yeah, no, I'll keep mine separate. So Angel Lloyd 555 on YouTube. Come on, have some fun, leave some comments. And once I start interviewing, I have a long list of people I want to interview, and they are regular people like me who have extraordinary stuff that happened.
Yes, like me. I'm just a regular person, but I've got stories beyond stories that I haven't even
On the
shared.
list,
Many stories.
on the interview, listen, you don't even know. All right, just telling you. On the list. Everybody I know is on the list, you know, but if they've got like community popularity, then no. Uh-uh.
Right. I hear you.
We,
Yeah,
you know,
because we are the disclosure. So that's what I've been doing. I've been reaching out to just trying to use Facebook and connect with people. You know, I haven't been on Facebook in a long time. So now with this new page, I've been trying to just see who's out there, connect with people. I met somebody from Vermont Paranormal today, and what is it? Vermont Society Paranormal, something like that. We're going to meet in person,
Oh, cool.
and we're going to do investigations.
just if y'all do like look for Sasquatch, be very gentle with them because that is part of my galactic family tree.
I love
And
Sasquatch.
yeah, be very gentle with my squashies because
Yeah.
I'm very, very particular about them. I don't like people call them Bigfoot. You know, they're Sasquatch, call them Sasquatch, you know, or I call them squashies, you know, because they're family. So be very gentle with my squash.
Yeah.
Very gentle.
We will, of course.
Because they are such loving beings. They are such loving beings, but they have another side like I do. Don't
Mess with it.
Yeah, don't go to the other side. Just stay. Just saw an orb. Hello,
Yes.
orb. Goodbye.
Right.
Out in my room.
Mr. Rogers, any last words you have for Lori or for the listeners, or would you like to let anybody know where to find you and what you've been up to, anything like that?
Yeah, everything of mine is on Rumble and YouTube under March 4th Productions. It's the number 4 with the PH. Rumble, I'm way behind because it's a bitch to try and upload videos from a cell phone onto Rumble because as soon as the screen resets, you have to start all over. So they really need to do some app or some work on the Rumble app when it comes to the mobile part. Aside from that, I'm actually going to be interviewing Chris Matthew because I'm going to be starting a review show for FKN, his network. So that'll be going pretty much, well, no, it'll be on YouTube as well. But yeah, all of that's on March 4th Productions on both platforms.
Nice. Wonderful. Wonderful. Well, I just want to thank you guys for joining me tonight. This has been wonderful. This is going to be aired on Monday morning. So I think it might be the next Monday coming up, I believe. I think. I have to check. I'll let you know. Either way, stay tuned because there's a lot of good stuff in this video. So, people might want to just watch it again and again, because Angel Lori has some really cool stories. And this is just the beginning. So we're definitely going to have you back um, a, a long time. Love you long time. We'll have you back multiple.
Thank you for
So
having
thank you.
Thank you. You guys have a lovely evening.
Yes, and you too. So we'll say goodbye to everybody. So 1, 2, 3. Bye, everybody.
Bye.
And stop. Right? Oh, it doesn't want to stop. So I have to end it. All right, guys. Well, you guys have a good night. I'll talk to you later.
Good night.
Okay.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.